Soft piano music floated through the air. Crystal chandeliers cast warm light across elegant white tablecloths, and the quiet clink of silverware echoed gently between conversations. Every table was filled with people celebrating something: business deals, birthdays, anniversaries. Laughter and quiet conversation blended with the smell of grilled steak, fresh bread, and expensive wine. Except at one table, in the far corner, near the window, sat a man completely alone. Daniel Whitmore. At 42, Daniel was known across the city as a brilliant entrepreneur. He had built one of the fastest growing tech companies in the country. Business magazines often called him the quiet millionaire of Manhattan. But tonight, like many nights before it, he sat alone with a half-finished dinner in front of him. A thick steak rested on his plate, barely touched. A bowl of roasted vegetables sat beside it, and a basket of warm bread remained almost full. Daniel stared at the food as if it belonged to someone else. Outside the window, the city pulsed with energy. Cars streamed through the streets like rivers of light. People hurried past in coats and scarves. Yet Daniel felt strangely disconnected from it all. A waiter approached carefully. "Is everything all right, Mr. Whitmore?" Daniel blinked as if waking from a dream. "Yes," he said quietly. "Everything's fine." But it wasn't. Not really. The waiter hesitated. "Would you like dessert? Our chef made a fresh chocolate souffle tonight." Daniel gave a polite smile. "No, thank you. Just the check." The waiter nodded and walked away. Daniel leaned back in his chair and rubbed his temple. Long meetings, endless emails, investors demanding results. His life had become a pattern, a habit of success. Wake up, work, sign contracts, attend meetings, eat dinner alone, repeat. He looked down at the untouched food again. And suddenly, a memory surfaced. A tiny kitchen from many years ago. The walls were pale yellow and slightly cracked. A small wooden table stood in the center, and a single light bulb hung above it. His mother stood by the stove, stirring soup. They hadn't had much money back then. Some nights dinner was nothing more than bread and soup. But his mother always smiled. And she always said the same thing. "Daniel, never waste food. Someone somewhere would give anything for what we have." Daniel swallowed hard. That had been 25 years ago. His mother had passed away before she could ever see the company he built. Before she could see the success she helped inspire. The waiter returned with the bill. Daniel reached for his wallet. But just as he placed a few bills on the tray, a soft voice spoke beside him. "Excuse me, sir." Daniel looked up. Standing near his table was a young girl. She couldn't have been older than 10. Her brown hair was tied into a loose ponytail, and she wore a faded blue jacket that looked slightly too big for her. Her sneakers were worn at the edges, but they were clean. In her hands she held a small paper bag. She looked nervous but determined. Before Daniel could say anything, the restaurant manager rushed over. "Hey," the manager snapped. "You can't come in here." Several diners turned their heads. "This restaurant is for customers only," the manager continued sharply. "You need to leave." The girl lowered her eyes slightly, but she didn't run. Instead, she spoke again, her voice small but polite. "I'm sorry, I just wanted to ask something." The manager sighed impatiently. "There's nothing to ask. Out." Daniel raised his hand. "It's all right," he said calmly. The manager looked at him, surprised. "Mr. Whitmore, I didn't realize she was with you." "She isn't," Daniel said. "But let her speak." The manager stepped back reluctantly. Daniel turned toward the girl. "What's your name?" "Emily," she said quietly. "Well, Emily," Daniel said gently, "what did you want to ask?" Emily glanced at the plate on the table. Then she looked back at him. "Can I take the leftovers, sir?" For a moment, the words didn't fully register. "The leftovers," Daniel repeated. Emily nodded quickly. "Yes, sir." The manager frowned. "Sir, we usually don't." But Daniel lifted his hand again. "Wait." He studied the girl more carefully now. Her eyes were bright but tired. "For you?" he asked. Emily shook her head immediately. "No, sir. For my mom." Something about the way she said it made Daniel pause. "Your mom?" Emily nodded. "She works nights." "Where?" "Cleaning officers." Daniel felt his chest tighten slightly. "She leaves before sunset and doesn't get home until very late," Emily continued. "Sometimes she's too tired to cook." The restaurant seemed quieter now. Even the manager had stopped talking. Emily held the paper bag nervously. "Restaurants throw away a lot of food," she said softly. "So I thought maybe." She didn't finish the sentence. Daniel looked down at the steak on his plate. More than half of it remained untouched. Beside it sat vegetables, bread, and salad, enough for a full meal. He thought again about his mother. "Never waste food." Slowly, Daniel pushed the plate forward. You can take it, he said. Emily blinked in surprise. Really? Of course. Her face lit up instantly. The manager quickly called a waiter. Pack this meal, Daniel said. Within a minute the food was neatly placed inside a container and slipped into the girl's paper bag. Emily held it carefully like it was something precious. Thank you, sir, she said. Daniel smiled faintly. You're welcome. Most people would have left immediately. But Emily didn't move. Instead, she stood there studying him. Daniel noticed. What is it? He asked. Emily hesitated. Then she asked quietly, Sir, are you okay? Daniel blinked. What do you mean? Emily tilted her head slightly. My mom says when people stare at their food for a long time, it means they're thinking about something said. Daniel almost laughed, but the sound caught in his throat. Do I look sad? He asked. Emily nodded gently. A little. Then she added, You look like someone who misses somebody. The words hit him harder than he expected. Daniel felt his throat tighten. No one had said something like that to him in years. He looked into the girl's eyes. And suddenly he froze, because they were the same warm brown as his mother's. For a brief moment, time seemed to stop inside the restaurant. Daniel Whitmore, millionaire, CEO, the man who controlled billion-dollar decisions every day, felt something unexpected rise inside his chest. The words echoed again and again in his head. Daniel had spent decades building success. Investors respected him, business magazines praised him, employees admired him, but no one asked if he was okay. Not really, and yet a child who had come to collect leftovers had seen something no one else had. He tightened his grip on the steering wheel. Then another memory surfaced, his mother standing in their small kitchen again. Daniel, she used to say, when you're lucky enough to have more than you need, you share it. That's how the world becomes kinder. Daniel sighed softly. Maybe somewhere along the way he had forgotten that lesson. The next evening, the following night, Daniel returned to the same restaurant. The waiter recognized him immediately. Good evening, Mr. Whitmore. Good evening. Your usual table. Daniel nodded. As he sat down, he felt slightly foolish. What was he expecting? That the girl would magically appear again. Still, he ordered dinner like usual. Steak, vegetables, fresh bread. But tonight he barely looked at his phone. Instead, his eyes occasionally drifted toward the entrance. 20 minutes passed, then 30. The restaurant grew busier. Couples laughed. Businessmen discussed deals. But there was no sign of Emily. Daniel exhaled slowly. Of course not, he thought. It had probably been a coincidence. Just as he signaled for the bill. Hello, sir. Daniel turned, and there she was. Emily stood beside the table again, holding the same small paper bag. Her eyes widened slightly. Oh, she said. You're here again. Daniel smiled. So are you. She shifted shyly from one foot to the other. My mom really liked the food yesterday, she said. She said it tasted like something from a movie. Daniel chuckled softly. Well, I'm glad. He pushed his barely touched plate toward the edge of the table. Would you like tonight's leftovers too? Emily's face brightened instantly. Really, of course. The waiter quickly packed the food into a container and placed it inside her paper bag. Emily held the bag with both hands. Thank you, sir. But this time Daniel noticed something. The girl looked less nervous than yesterday. Curious, he asked, do you come here every night? Emily shook her head. Only when mom works late. And tonight she's working. Yes, Emily said. She cleans offices a few blocks away. Daniel raised an eyebrow. You walk here alone. Emily shrugged. It's not far. Something about that answer made Daniel uneasy. The city at night could be unpredictable, even in a place like New York City. Where do you live? He asked. Emily pointed down the street. Just over there. Daniel hesitated for a moment. Then he stood up. I'll walk with you. Emily looked surprised. You're done, have to. I know, Daniel said gently. But I'd like to. The walk. They stepped outside into the cool night air. The noise of traffic surrounded them. Neon lights reflected on the wet pavement. Emily walked carefully beside him, clutching the paper bag like treasure. For a few moments, neither of them spoke. Then Emily asked, Sir, what do you do? Daniel smiled faintly. I run a company. Like a boss. Something like that. Emily nodded thoughtfully. My mom says bosses are usually mean. Daniel laughed. Your mom might be right sometimes. But you're not mean, Emily said. Daniel glanced down at her. Why do you think that? Because you share your food. The simple answer made him pause. Children had a way of making complicated things sound simple. They walked another block. Streetlights cast long shadows across the sidewalk. Then Emily pointed toward an old brick building. That's our place. The building was small and worn, with flickering lights above the entrance. Daniel stopped. Just then, the door opened. A tired woman stepped outside carrying a cleaning uniform. She froze when she saw Emily standing beside a well-dressed man. Emily, hi, Mom, Emily said happily. The woman rushed over. I told you not to wander around alone. Then she looked at Daniel nervously. I'm so sorry if she bothered you, sir. She didn't bother me, Daniel said gently. Emily lifted the bag proudly. He gave us dinner again. The woman looked embarrassed. You don't have to do that. It's no trouble, Daniel replied. For a moment, the three of them stood quietly under the streetlight. Emily's mother looked exhausted, but grateful. Daniel suddenly realized something. Helping them had taken almost no effort. Yet it clearly meant everything to them. Emily tugged lightly on her mother's sleeve. See, Mom, I told you he was nice. Her mother smiled weakly. Well, thank you again, sir. Daniel shook his head. No need to thank me. Then he added softly, sometimes kindness just becomes a habit. Emily tilted her head. A habit. Yes, Daniel said. The more you practice it, the easier it becomes.